Hey everybody, welcome back to Champ and Sons and our City Skylines 2 series here in Averagton County. As we are looking at our first city, and it's kind of built up pretty damn well. We do have some of these blank spaces to fill in, but I think we'll be able to take care of that relatively easy. And we're at a point in the city, I kind of mentioned it in the last episode, that we've kind of hit the border of where I want this small city to go, right? And so we got to start looking at expansion. Now, I do have 28 expansion points. And so just taking a look at it out wide, I always want to take a look at the natural resources. But if I'm going to put my major metropolitan city pretty much probably right around in here, there's a couple different ways to go with it. Because eventually I'm going to have to fold off from the highway and bring a highway pretty much all the way through this segment right here, which isn't going to be the most difficult thing in the world to do. But we are set up right now at 28 expansion points, and I know size-wise we're at like a level 7, I guess. Let me just close out of this real quick. Yeah, so we're at a 7, and once you hit 8, which we're almost there based off the XP, once you hit 8 and then 9, you really start to get the high density stuff coming in, and all the way through to small city high density offices and all that. And it's one of those I get concerned with. All right, if I don't expand to our major metropolitan city area first, well, then that's going to open up some issues, right? It's going to make things a little bit harder once that demand comes in. However, I also have the choice to just straight up ignore that demand, because one thing I definitely want to look at when it comes to expansion is, one, we have this small city here, then we're going to put a separate one right here, major farming kind of community in this whole area right here, and then probably another little city segment off to that side, and then same thing over here, which is why once we break off the highway, we'll be able to open up for a separate city on this side. And so it's going to be kind of determining where do we want to expand first, right? Do I chase down the major metropolitan area, which I probably would have to do it like this if I'm being honest. Do this first so I can draw my major road all the way out here, and then see, that leaves me with 16, so that's a 4x4. Yeah, so that's what it would be. Then this would be our major metropolitan area. Do I do that portion now? Or, a part of me does say that just because we are going to have some of that really high density demand going. Or do we go ahead and take a look at starting to expand some of our other cities that we're wanting to put in? So I mentioned the farming city. There's a couple different ways I've thought about it. I tie into the highway out here, and I bring this down. And then I don't need that. I probably wouldn't need that to start, but I definitely would need this one right here. And so it's one of those things that if we do the expansion this way, I can actually just tie straight off here and just start a whole separate city, and then boom, we've got this portion for kind of the downtown of the other city with the farms right here, and just spread out some light density residential, because it would be pretty much a farming community. And then as we go to the next level, tie it in coming around on this section. So it's kind of going to be interesting in that way. I think I might end up going that route with it, but there's a lot of different possibilities for expansion, at the same time. So let me just get rid of these. Let's just say we're not buying those. Or what I have looked at, because we are going to put a massive loop around the city. If we were to fill in like this, so that gives us 24. Essentially, I would draw off the highway right here and bring in a loop around. And I don't think it would be another highway loop around. I might do it that way because that gives me the major 4-lane or the major road exiting off here for the industrial area, and then we have the road right here coming through the downtown, and then also this road right here that's going to run along the coast. So it's going to be one of those. I'm not sure. This road, this large road down the coast, is going to come up over through here, and pretty much just kind of be some coastal drive. It's not going to be. There's not going to be heavy city and stuff set up in this area because, like I said, our metropolitan area is boom right here in this corner. But it's one of those trying to figure out where do we want to put this expansion network to. Because I've thought about if we go this route, and it's all right. Let me go ahead and hit a highway intersection coming off of here, start bringing it around, and then I could hit the intersections coming from this road, from this segment, and so forth. It's definitely doable. It's just I haven't really fully decided that yet, so we might need to take a little break from taking a look at the city expansion. And I think in this episode we're going to really kind of finalize this segment, since I know I'm not taking it any further beyond really this border right here. Now, there's a couple things I wanted to do. I know I mentioned putting a college in, and we'll do that. But when I look at production, and yes, I get services this way, but I put in a gas power plant, and man, I have some additions added to it, which, look, if you click on it, we have all of these expenses. This thing costs $1 million a month, right? So it's foolish of me to do it. However, I've got the unlimited money, and eventually, as we build up, things are going to level off. And if I look at it, I mean, we're exporting 284, so this power plant should be able to pretty much power all of us, the whole county for the most part. So we'll kind of work on that. But this area right in here, part of the production panel, the only thing we're really, I mean, we got to add in some more farming and stuff like that's going to be a given. But this will level off once we start our farming city. Once we start that other city over there across the little river thing, is the stone. I haven't put in any stone industry, and so I want to go ahead and do that now, because stone doesn't require any kind of land to be set up. It can be set up anywhere, and I'm going to end up putting it right about here, I would say. So before I draw on the border, I am going to connect this road over. Just go straight 90 from there. Boom. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and connect that road over to it. And I can actually probably add in another little stone mining or something else over here. But let's go ahead and now let's make this change. We just bring this out in a butte. And I think I am just going to go to about there. So one other thing I want to do, let me take this road and just bring this road on out. 90 degrees. Boom. Alright, so there's that in. Let's come back over to our stone mine. And we're going to bring this straight to that edge there. Now I've actually got this stuff set up to where I could put additional ones in. And I think I'm actually going to go ahead and do that, because there's not a whole lot of natural resources in this area, right? So I think just for the stone mine, we've got plenty of oil. We got our core or metal ore and all that type of stuff. I'm going to go ahead and add in a second stone mine. This one will be much smaller, obviously. Oh my god. And we are going to butt these things right up next to each other. It's not like the farm. So on the farm side, I wanted to have the trees kind of in between after looking at it a second time. But when it comes to stone mines, they get to be right up next to each other. I'm not going to stress about those pressing up against each other. I have unpaused, and that should bring our stone mining production up here in a second once these things get going. So we've got these in. I'm not worried about that industrial demand really. I want us to go ahead and start looking at kind of filling in some stuff around here. Now, one thing that you kind of know once you lived in small towns is there's gonna be little stores that pop up, which I probably should have put in coming around from this segment, but I liked having the trees on the outside there. And I think we still are going to fill in a lot of this space with trees and all that fun jazz. But I'm going to kind of wait to see, at least this part is, this will be more kind of open looking park space. Except for this one building. What is that? It's my one and only there. I'll probably take that out actually. Now that I think about it, I'll take this one out and move it over there when the time comes. Which that time is now. Boom. Get out. Okay. Split second decisions being made. That's how I operate. We are going to come off here. I'm going to bring this road on across, which I might as well do that. Because this is also going to help with our farm demand. I'm not going to worry about the grain just yet. Why is it at such a weird angle? I guess it's because it's coming off that one. So if I were to just do that, 90 degrees from there, boom. Alright, so we're in. So here is where I can probably put in another little farm, give or take. And that's going to kind of, I think, really work out pretty well to kind of level off some of the, the meat production stuff that we got going. Yeah, because we're still importing some of that. So we'll balance all of that stuff out as we kind of get going here, and it definitely expand out the city, I know. But what I do like is this kind of closes off the high school area, which we're going to get that fixed up. We are going to probably go ahead and get a college put in. It's expensive, don't get me wrong, but I think it's about time. And in reality, like I said, a small city does have a college, does have a community college in it. Like, that's definitely a viable option there. That's just going to be kind of how do I want it to fit best in this area, because there's not a whole lot of additions that you can really stick out on the side of them. So we'll have to see how that works. Alright, well, we're going to jump on into it. I'm going to take it to our time-lapse portion, and I will see y'all on the other side of it. So, see y'all here in a little bit. We got a little stuff done as far as the elementary school and the high school being taken care of. I wanted to do something to probably help out with the traffic a little bit because I knew this was going to bog down. I had originally removed these connections right here, and what I think I might go ahead and do those, just put them back just real quick. I did put one back. I think it probably would help out to have, you know, those connections back in, just to kind of give other options for getting to places through here, because I figured routing them through here, I knew we would run into some traffic. Like, you know, you're going to run into that. But it's all along these corridors, so I figure if we go with just these two on the roundabouts, we should be kind of fine. It shouldn't run into too many issues, I don't think. But we'll have to see how that plays out. Now, one thing I am going to be doing, though, I'd kind of fought against it, hadn't really thought too much of it, but I am going to be putting in a bus depot. Now, I was going to put it in over there, but I think it would be just kind of a little bit more fitting to have the bus depot in right about here. Now, first thing I want to do is I am going to have to put in a bus terminal, right? Now, I don't want to put the bus terminal kind of in the middle of the city. In all reality, I think it probably would sit out more right along this corridor right here. So that's where we are going to kind of put this one, is right, boom. All right, it's in. It is in. So, now I need to look at bus stops and bus routes. Okay? So, first thing I'm going to do, because you really want to avoid having buses come down these ways, is I'm going to put in, but it's going to have to, you know, I understand that. So, we're going to put in bus stops all along this side. Whoops. 1, 2, 3, all on the right side of the road there. And then this is going to serve just this area. Primarily, this is where they're going to do a lot of the major pickups for people. And looking at it, let's see. We have the high school over here, so the bus is going to come down, hit up right there. I'll have it come to here, right here, and then this bus stop right by the high school. And then I'm going to bring it back to the industrial area. And we are going to run this thing through the industrial area as well, just because you know you're going to need to have that happen. Like, there's going to be people that you want to take the bus pretty much as much as possible. So, last stop is there. This next one I'm going to place right about here in front of the power plant. Okay, let's do the first line. Right, so let's come down to John, grab that one. Now, I had originally, let's take it up to over here. Yeah, that's going to be the ideal, I guess. And then we are going to just hit each one of these stops. Boom. Now keep in mind, this hasn't run downtown yet. So I am going to put some more bus stops in downtown, and we'll probably tie this line into it. But I didn't want it to be too much of a major kind of, you know, portion as far as going into those certain areas. I wanted to keep each bus kind of set up to its own little region, kind of ideal at least. All right, so boom, right back into there. Now let me come over, and we need to, first and foremost, I'm gonna make it a dark blue. I'll keep it at bus line 1 for now, but I don't want 9 buses. I'm gonna make it down to 6, and I'll make the ticket price 10. That should be pretty decent. We'll start to see some flow through there. And then I am going to put in some more bus stops on this side. And once again, I'm going to tie all of these into the industrial complex. So most of these stops will be done. Let me just add in another set of stops just on this right side of the road. So if I put one there, come out, I can put one here. Yeah, I'll keep that one like that. But let me try to rethink this. So if I have a bus coming, a separate bus coming from this way, we are going to have it. I have it stop there. It can hit that one and come down through here. And yeah, that's where I'm going to kind of keep it for now. And I'll wind it back through here. Okay, then we'll bring it right back to the station there. But I need the stops over in this section, in this area. So if I'm the bus, I bring it. I'm probably going to have to try to loop this thing down through here, through the major road work here, and then it'll turn off right around there. And so yeah, let me go ahead and start just putting these in on the correct side of the road, that is. One right here in front of the high school. And like that, I know these are a ton of stops, right? I do understand that. I'm gonna have it come right back through this collection point. And boom. And yeah, one more right about there. Yeah, that should work, because I can bring it from this stop over around to these two. And then tie in here, here, come back around to tie in there. That's a little windy. It definitely is a little windy. I think looking at that, that's definitely going to be some possibly unnecessary windiness. Not sure how you want to look at it, but that's how I look at it at least. Alright, so ideally it comes through here, and boom. I guess that's the fastest way. We'll have to see how that kind of works. So we hit these points, come back down, right here. Boom. Then I got this stop here. And we come off to this area. One, two. Yeah. That's all right. So 1, 2. No, I would need it to go around like that. Let me see. I think I took that the wrong way, but that's okay. That is okay, folks. We are doing all right. Not too big of a deal here. And give me just 1 second. All right, so we got these last set of bus stops. This is definitely a downtown bus line that I'm talking this third one that we're going to do. I don't know if I'm going to do anything more than that right now, but that's what we're definitely looking at. So this is where things get a little hairy, right? How do I want to get this bus into downtown? Now the positive thing, or the good thing, is I've got, bus stops through these neighborhoods, which is generally what I'm going to end up stopping off and doing and running them this way. So that's why we hit that one here. And then I can just bring this down here. Whoop, where'd that go? There it is. Sorry. Computer joltage. Boom. Now, let's see. I could do... Yeah, here, here. Boom. So these are all like our major downtown areas. This is our hub. So this bus is going to be running all the way through there. And now let me tie it back in to Averageton. I need to put some more bus stops right there. I'm going to have to probably redo that whole bus route. That's okay, though. That's okay. These things happen. You can't stress about them. And I am going to have to redo that whole bus route. That's okay. Like I said, it's going to let me try to redo it. I had a picture in my head as I was labeling, putting those things down. The picture just did not come as clear. Alright. So, I'll bring that here. Stop that in front of the park. And then down to that one. And so let's see, we got right side of the road only. Got some more little areas. So it's this stop that's really kind of throwing me off a little bit. I think I'm coming through there. And let me see. I'm gonna bring that here. Like I said, this is going to be a major bus route for us. So normally I've been kind of removing the some of the God, what is it? I've been removing some of the stops and some of the bus totals from these routes. This one I'm probably not going to, because I am going to want this thing kind of full blown. Actually, that one's on the main road. I'm going to not use that one, I think, is what that's going to amount to. Yeah, I'm going to get rid of those two bus stops right there. Bring that back over this way. And yeah, stop off at this office little complex. And we'll bring it on back down. Boom. Alright, so we got a third bus line completed. 27 stops versus 28. That'll be a white line. Yeah, I'm going to keep the buses kind of flowing. And like I said, that one I don't want to do too much with. There is a car wreck happening. Okay. You idiots, learn how to drive. It's being cleared up. So like I said, I did put in the bus route. I haven't put in a college just yet. Look at that difference. I do want to see transportation. Why is that so low? It's going to take a while for people to get up and start using the buses. That I do know. I've gotten plenty of parking lots put in, and if we see they're not full yet, but they're working their way up. It's going to take a while. This is a town of 15,000 people. Got to keep some people coming in, so I think it is going to be about time to put in the college. And I am putting it in right off this heavy medium density row home portion. I am going to put that in right there. Now, it has only those extension wings, and it allows me to put in a library. So, I want to kind of get this to really be a good looking kind of style of campus, right? So I am going to put the library in. Do I have any of these buildings anywhere? I thought I did. Maybe I don't. I've got all the UK stuff that I can do. And a small petrol station. I got the iron press building. That actually probably would look pretty good. But let's go ahead and kind of get this thing dressed up first and foremost. So what I really want to do, and I'm not so sure, I think I definitely want a pedestrian path to come through here. Right, like that does seem kind of ideal. And primarily the reason for that, because I'm going to put parking lots in for people that are driving. But if I put the pedestrian path there, and now then let me see, first let me see about putting this. That will go up against it. The iron press building. Let me see what these UK buildings look like. Not too bad. It does give it that community college kind of vibe, although it is a pub and restaurant. Alright, well, either way, let me come over here. Let me put the road in first. That, I think, is just the given. So if I put in a road about here, I cut straight across to there, I can come right on back down to John. Okay, so we have this portion put in. Now let me come in with the parking lots just real quick. If I do go big parking lot, 1, 2, 3. Same thing on this side. 1, 2, 3. Alright, so we'll have those parking lots in. Now let me look at these buildings that I can add here. Kind of dress everything up a little bit. I do want to put in this building. And actually, let me go in and grab the parks. I'm going a little schizophrenic style in this area. That's okay though, folks. It is okay to do that, if you must. So, yeah, that's actually not bad. What kind of park was that I put in? A dog park. Psh, God damn it. I should definitely look at what I'm doing first. You know what I mean? Not a dog park. A large city park. Now that's definitely doable right there. Let me see some of these others with how, some of these others definitely do fit in spots. Right along there. Large city park, chirper complex, multi-purpose park. No. Large plaza. That would work. But I think it's a little too big. I don't know why. It just seems like, while it would be nice, so let me just place it. And yeah, see, I don't really like the fence around it. So get out of here. People are getting pissed at me for placing parks and then just getting rid of them. So I really want to find one that doesn't have the fence around it. Like this one does not have a fence around it there. Neither does this one. So I thought about putting those buildings in. Let me see how big they are real quick. That one goes back 4 squares. Okay. And then I just need to find one that goes back 3 squares. And all of these seem like they're going back 4 squares. Not this one though. Which one is this? Local boozer. Shit ton of pubs. Shit ton of pubs, I can say that much. The Church Inn. Pub and restaurant, yeah, it goes back 5. No, this is just a community college, so I'm gonna just add the park back in. You know, I thought about it, but like I've mentioned, this is a community college. It's not a big university. So I'm gonna keep it relatively small in this space, and we are gonna add in those parks. And then we will have the fun of getting these bad boys dressed up. So let's just jump into that, getting this whole area set up and designed. So look, I'm going to jump into a time-lapse portion, and I'll catch y'all at the end of this time-lapse portion right here. So I will be back in just 1 second. I am back, and we ran into the trash problem. I'd mentioned it before in the last episode, which is why we had to add on that additional landfill. Instead of moving it and adding more landfill space, I went on ahead and placed a recycling center. Now, doing that, the good part about it is it did get us to the big town progression, and if you look, it adds in the high density housing, um, which plus it does give us 8 development points and 10 additional tiles to expand with. So I'm not going to really use those 8 development points just yet. I want to look at where we want to actually put those at, mainly just because I have a feeling we're going to need to, I want to save onto that stuff for the actual expansion once we go into making other little cities. Now with this recycling center is we do have a couple of additional things to put in, which, let's see, garbage truck depot, that should just add on to there. Hazardous waste collection, I'll probably definitely need to look at that, but those are pretty large. However, they go into their own little space. And same thing with storage extension. So I can actually put this on the back end of it. But yeah, I'm going to go ahead and put the storage extension, and then I think I just want one little, nah, I don't think I'm going to put on that yet, but I'm going to save this box for, save this box right here for that extra storage extension. So this will definitely help out with the trash problem that we're seeing. So the industrial plant garbage won't be piling up at it so much more, and then these will also start to see some relief from them as well, which is going to be a positive thing for us. So we got the college campus put in, and I added in a shit ton of parking, and you can see there's some lots that are already starting to fill up, you know. Added in the walking road, so there are delivery trucks, not like anything is actually built on the side of these, so I don't have to worry about that right now. But I wanted to make this a spot where we easily could walk all the way around and through. Now, it's not going to be somewhere where they're going to have their own football stadium or anything like that, because once again, it is a community college. So, just to keep that in mind as we look at it. We did get pretty good amount of stuff done here in this episode as far as the school, the elementary school, the high school, adding in the college, putting in the stone mines, which, let me see, where's that production at? Look what the college did. I mean, it adds in so much every single month. Finally back up to production on animals. It's just grain we still got to work on. Stone is all the way up there as well, so I'm glad to see that happen. We are going to continue to work. I got a little neighborhood ready for whenever that does happen, the expansion does occur. I'm probably going to pretty much fill in this with, I'm going to fill this in with just trees for the most part. Because like I said, we are really at the boundary of where I want this initial city, town to be at. So that's kind of where we are floating on that one. Yeah, of course, there it is. It opens up the high density stuff. I'm not going to put in these massive apartment complex. I'm just not going to do it. So, plus there's no demand for it right now. I'm not going to stress about that at this point. We're going to kind of let this city take over. I'm going to fill in a lot of this stuff as far as these spots with trees, but I'll do a lot of that off camera. Because we have so much walkable space already. I might make this walkable, but that's really about it. Outside of that, it's going to be filled with trees, pretty much kind of going all the way down as we leave the initial city center main road. So that's what we've gotten done in this one, everybody. I hope y'all enjoyed today's video. I'm going to leave y'all off with some just flyovers of the city, and I will see y'all in the next one, everybody. So as always, stay safe, and well, y'all know how it goes from here, right? Later, y'all.